Hey there, welcome to number 25 of our fundamental supersize business strategy. I call this one the ANTS strategy or killing or killer ant strategy because it talks about and deals with something that happens in all of our organizations as well as inside each and every one of us. And that is a term coined by Dr. Daniel Amen in the 1990s. I think he first wrote his book. I didn't come across it until the 2000 teens and discovered how powerful a concept it is and how much it actually was participating and acting in my life, even though I was unaware of it. ANTS stands for automatic negative thoughts, automatic negative thinking. And if we listen to the conversation in our head, which we seldom do, it's just going on automatically all the time. We're already always narrating our lives, whether we're aware of it or not. Our life is a story that's unfolding within us at all times. And there's been a ton of scientific studies done on the amount of negative thoughts we have versus the amount of positive thoughts we have. And for most people, it's 80 to 90% negative and 10 to 20% positive. Now, I don't know how statistically significant those tests are, but if I think about my thoughts throughout the day, and sometimes I'll do that as an exercise. I'll pay attention to the stuff that's popping into my head. Whenever, and I hate to admit this, but it's true for me, and it's probably true for most people, most business owners, because I don't think I'm that unique and special in terms of how my brain works versus how other people's brains work. But something will happen, a situation, it might be a great thing, but all of a sudden, my subconscious will start feeding me all the ways that the great thing that just happened can go wrong or is a bad thing. Now, as soon as I see that or notice that, I put the kibosh on it and put the brakes on it. And I'll share my two favorite ways to do that, the quickest, easiest, fastest ways to do it that have worked for me. But also ask yourself, does this happen to you? Whenever I learned a lot about it being in group meetings and group settings and being on different teams, because we all think that our thoughts and our beliefs are just the way the world is and that everybody thinks that way too. But the truth is they absolutely don't. And being part of teams really highlights that and shows us the differences in the way different people think and the way different people make decisions, different people prioritize things. Now, I will still contend, no matter what, the way you do it is the most important for you, but the way everybody else does it is the most important for them too. So we need to be respectful and keep that in mind as well. So what's a quick example of this? You decide you're going to roll out a new project or a new plan in your organization, your company. It doesn't even matter what type of company or business you have. Something's coming down the pipe, something new. Maybe it's you're going to start doing contingency plans for crazy things like COVID pop up. There's always going to be people that their walls go up and they resist any type of change, good or bad, in an organization. You might tell people, hey, we're going to a 4-day work week instead of a 5-day work week. And guess what? There'll be people that love that and are excited and all on board. But there's going to be a percentage of your people that hate that. They're like, nah, I like my routine. I like my 5-day work week or whatever. So even if it's a good thing, people will resist it. And they're not resisting it just to be stubborn. They're resisting it because they need more information. They don't understand how it's going to benefit them. So automatic negative thoughts are things that pop up automatically. We don't ask for them to show up. They just show up in our life. And they're things that hold us back, prevent us from stretching our comfort zone, prevent us from taking action and doing what we know we need to do to grow and build and supersize our business. So we want to have a process and a way for identifying them. And there's a 3-step process that Daniel Amen teaches in his book. And it's basically notice that something's going on, write it down. Write down the automatic negative thought that it's triggering. And then he's got a great book from the 1990s called, I can't remember what it's called. That's terrible. The book's on my bookshelf. But you can just Google it and you can Google the process. You don't have to go get the book, but I'm going to say you want to pay attention to this because if you don't have a way to deal with this negative thinking that pops up automatically for yourself and other people, it can take over your life. I am a living example of what can happen when you don't realize on a conscious level that automatic negative thinking is snowballing inside you. I actually had a sudden cardiac arrest, and a lot of it I vision is 2020 hindsight. But leading up to it, no idea. After the fact, I reviewed what was going on with me in my life prior to that, and boom, I contribute a lot of that to just feeling out of control, negative thoughts, not feeling like I knew what to do, which was probably an absolute low point in my thinking in my life. But after that, I discovered this book, and that, guess what? We can change those things. We can stop them before they cause us or our business or our organization any type of damage. And we do that by writing it down. What are you thinking? I'm thinking that I can't control this. I'm thinking this is out of my control. And it probably is, right? There are so many things in our business that are outside of our control, but how we respond and react to it, what we decide to do in the face of whatever the negative thought is the most important thing. Then we're going to name it, and we're going to talk back to ourselves about it. If you tell yourself you're not good enough, or if your presentation that you're going to give to your board of directors is going to flop, and then all of a sudden your subconscious will start feeding you up all the trash and all the garbage, whether it's true or not, right? Our subconscious stores everything and then feeds it back to us in order to protect us from harm or stretching our comfort zone. And sometimes it just feeds us a bunch of lies and malarkey. And so we need to be able to stop that in its tracks. I have a couple of tools that I use. One is a book. When I had my sudden cardiac arrest because of all my dumb negative thinking, I wrote a book called A Flip Book. And this is actually the editing copy of it. But it was just a tool for me to focus on positive things and what they mean to me. And that's my strategy, is as soon as I catch myself in one of these negative thinking loops, I flip the switch. And I automatically just think about it like flipping a light switch, or pulling a cord on a light, a string on a light, or turning something off, maybe a circuit breaker or something. And I just stop and then start talking to it and saying, well, what's the opposite of this? Is this really even true? Yep, it might have been true when I was 7, but it isn't true anymore. Maybe I was nervous to introduce myself when I was 7, but at 64, guess what? Kind of a no-brainer. Hi, Sharon, how can I help you? It's things that we think we're doing to protect ourselves and our organization, but are actually hindering and hurting us. So, love to know if you have an ANTS strategy or a way of dealing with negative thoughts in your organization. To me, it's part of building a culture, a learning culture, a growing culture, a culture that includes everybody's core values and things, etc. But it impacts each and every one of us in different ways. But I think it's worth at least thinking about and talking about and having a personal strategy for it, even if your organization doesn't. But guess what? When you as a leader set the example of something that works for you, people notice and they want to do it too. All right, that's it. Have an awesome day. And I'll, of course, be with you tomorrow with another foundational supersize business strategy. Have a great day.